Hey guys, happy Tuesday. So our next multiplication teak is 4.4g. It says the student is expected to round to the nearest 10, 100, or 1,000, or use compatible numbers to estimate solutions involving whole numbers. So let's take a look at this teak more closely. So it says you guys are the students. You're expected to do a couple different things. Number one, you're expected to round. And you're only going to have to round to the nearest 10, 100, or 1,000. Or the second thing you might have to do is use compatible numbers. Compatible numbers you studied in third and second grade. Compatible numbers are just kind of easier numbers that are closer to the number you're working with. So say I'm working with a number like 71, like the compatible number might be easier to use the number 70. So you're going to round or use compatible numbers to do what? Right here it says to estimate solutions involving whole numbers. Now this word estimate is going to be the most important word in this teak that we're looking at today. Because if you're going to estimate something, it means you're going to get kind of just like close to or about. It's not going to be an exact number, not the exact answer. So we're going to be rounding or using compatible numbers to get us close to what the answer might be to different problems. And when we're looking at problems, it's always important to round or use compatible numbers before you actually do any math. Round or use compatible numbers before you actually do any math or any solving. Because the whole point of this teak is to make it easier for you to solve a problem. Let me show you what I mean. So let's look at this word problem here. And we're going to either round or use compatible numbers before I actually solve it, and it's going to make it easier for me to solve. So look at this problem. It says, Rosemar has a collection of stamps that she keeps in albums, like photo albums. It says she has 7 albums of stamps, and each one contains 2,156 stamps. Which is the best estimate of the total number of stamps that Rosemar has in her collection? So if I was actually going to solve this, I could draw a picture maybe to help me out. There's 3 albums. How many albums does she have? 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I was actually going to solve it, it says each one contains 2,156 stamps. So I would have to put 2,156 in each of these albums. Then if I wanted to find the total, I would either have to add all of those up, or I could multiply them, right? I could do 2,156 plus 2,156. I could sit here and add all of those up, but that would be a lot of math to do, and I'm just trying to get an estimate. I'm just trying to get like a close idea of how many stamps she'll have. If I was going to do the exact, I could also sit here and I could multiply it, right? 2,156. We're going to learn how to do this week and multiply it out, but still, that's a lot of math. What I want to do, according to this teak, is I just want to get close or about the same number. I'm not going to look for the exact answer. Anytime you see the word that says best estimate or about how many stamps does she have, we're going to do some rounding or use compatible numbers. So I'm going to draw myself 7 albums again. 6, 7. And let's look at this, 2,156. Well, what is that kind of close to that would be easier to add either in our heads or on paper? Well, I'm thinking like 2,000 would probably be a good compatible number. Wouldn't it be a lot easier to add up all these thousands if it was only 2,000. There's about 2,000 stamps in each of those albums. So this would be a lot easier, okay? 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000. So I know she's going to have about 14,000 stamps in those 7 albums. Wasn't that a lot easier than having to add up all of these numbers? If I use compatible numbers or I round them first, it makes the math a lot easier. And also, later this week, when we figure out how to actually solve it and do problems like this, I can check my answer and see if it's somewhere near my estimation, because if my number is way off and it's way different than my estimation, I know I maybe did something wrong. So it's just going to be another easier way to check your work, is to see if it's going to be close to the estimation that you got when we practice this TEK of you're expected to round or use compatible numbers to estimate the solution, to make sure you can kind of get a close answer before we actually figure out how to correctly solve it using the real numbers.